welcome to the show.
Woohoo! It's always a surprise for me. I never have a warning. I love it. I'm Kim McVicar.
I'm Handren Seavey. Speaking of surprises, there were some surprises this episode.
Yeah, it was called Double Date.
Double date. I forget what we predicted, but it was a double date between Jen and Dawson. The
Mm-hmm.
best idea you could ever do.
Yeah, why not? Have you ever gone on a double date with your next?
I don't think so. No.
I don't think I
No.
have either.
Yeah. No, that would just be a bad idea. I mean, I've barely met even some exes, boyfriends or whatever.
Hmm.
I can't think of how many I have. I don't know.
How many exes you have?
No, how many of them I've met. They're now, or even at the time, significant other.
Yeah,
I think maybe like one or two.
yeah. This
How
opening,
many exes do you have?
1,000,000. 1,000,000. If you're counting every kindergarten guy that I was like, we're dating now. No, I was like zero. It was zero. Never dated anybody yet. I'm excited to one day go out on a date. I'm hoping that my husband lets me, but I've never actually gone on a date yet. I'm very excited.
Which, speaking of that, that is I like that for anybody who sees our posts online, description of last week's episode was that Dawson got cucked. Or the boyfriend
Two
episode.
episodes ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't post those when you post those things. I don't know if you noticed. I don't repost. When Handren writes cuckle on an Instagram.
What do you think it cuckle? It's cuckold.
What did you write? Oh, you get it.
I just said cucked.
Oh, yeah. I still can't.
Short.
I have a lot of children that follow me. And I was like, nope, this is not going on my
That's odd.
They're teens.
Okay. Then I like that you still call them children and you're not like, they're all adults.
They're teens. But that's still, I don't know. I don't want to be introducing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they're following me. It's not my responsibility, but I also feel like, I don't know. I also don't have any cursing on my page.
Really?
I bleep it out. It's there. All my jokes from stand-up special that I have bad words in are there. They're just bleeped out.
Yeah. I only did that for retarded. I didn't.
Not right now.
I thought they would pull it.
That's not a bad word. Sorry, that was a magic.
So this one again starts off
watching a movie.
Dawson watching a movie. Dawson walking around, just obsessed with Jen still, and constantly telling Joey about it, and she just takes it.
Yeah, and Joey's just like, here's how the episode's gonna go. One day, Jen will ask you if you could be friends, and one day, like, she will date someone else. Literally, that cold opening is like, here is what you're going to watch.
Yep. But she doesn't mention what comes later, that the weird conniving between Dawson and that other chick was odd.
Yeah, we're getting into that because that was extra weird. It was super weird. And then it cuts to the parents, and then the mom's cheater boy guy lover named Bob calls. And
Bob calls.
Why is Bob calling? And she's like, it's still work related. Like, she still has to work with this guy. Which, if you cheat on someone with someone you work with, and then they find out, do you have to quit your job?
Somebody has to quit,
right? Because
you don't just
the breadwinner, but like,
yeah, that's a roughly say. I think you're the weather girl now. I think you're not gonna sit right next to him.
Yeah, or
you just go. I don't know. It's a small town. I'm surprised Mitch didn't kill that guy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that will happen in the future. I'm surprised they kept Bob in as a character. They easily could have just made him like disappear.
Like they did with, again, we predicted this would happen. Jen's ex left in the last episode, and no mention of it. Never comes back again. She's dating a new guy now.
Yeah, it's just how it works. And then so they have that little scene where Bob calls and she's like, it's just work, and he's like, well, tell him never to call here. I think he has every right to be mad.
Yeah.
And she should change her number or something. Just change your house phone number. Or tell him not to call your house.
Yeah, that's what it would be. It'd be like, hey, never fucking when he picked up, I'm surprised he wasn't like, who is this? Beep. I don't give a fuck if it's for work. Talk about it at work.
Yeah, you
I
should
think
never.
it really is the fact that he's unemployed. And she is the breadwinner, that he just has to take this. All the men in the Leary family just have to take it, it seems like.
It's fun. It's super fun. I keep repeating myself because I'm gotta tell you, so those of you who don't watch, or if you do, go to YouTube. I feel like my headset is too big for my head, and that this cover is too big for my face.
They
And
both are comically big.
they
Yeah.
are, right? But if I take this off, it's so shiny and weird. And then these are the head. I don't know. I'm thinking.
That's what he said.
Yeah. So our next Venmo for everyone who's listening is to me to get smaller headsets. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Totally kidding.
Um, they do look nice though, but yeah, they are big, like studio headphones.
Well, that's what they're for, and they do like I can't hear anything else but you, so it is like it does stop me from being distracted. It's just when I see them, I'm like, oh man, that's huge. It's huge.
But yeah, he should have murdered Bob.
And then, just like Joey says in the cold opening, immediately after Jen's like, "Hey, Dawson, can we be friends?"
Yeah, I know. It's like almost cut too, except for that little parents part, which I do want to say the parents also, I think this is the first time in, I want to say 3 episodes that we've seen them, even that they've even been on the fucking show.
That's why I was surprised they brought Bob back.
Yeah. And you know what sucks for the actor who plays Bob is he is talked about so much. I don't, I think he had maybe one quick speaking line the entire series, or when they're watching him on TV.
Yeah, the only one who beats him is the grandpa, character-wise. For
Oh
now.
yeah, is he still dead, alive? What's up with him?
Yeah, he's just laying in bed. He's
Yeah,
great.
he's been there the whole time.
He gets paid just to show up and pass out. I love that character. Yeah, that's fun. I think Joey asking if she could be friends as an adult now, I'm like, that's fucked up. But I know I've done it.
You mean Jen?
Jen, what did I say?
Yeah, Joey.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Joey's very clearly fine with being friends despite being madly in love.
Yeah, but I've definitely had exes and been like, we're staying friends, right? I totally have. With almost
I
every single
have
ex
been
I've ever had.
friends. I've been friends with exes, but it was always like we'll be friends like yeah in 6 months, but right now it's probably just let's not talk for fucking. I could never just go to, and not just me, I just wouldn't want to. It'd be weird to go to the next day we're friends, like we break up and but we're just friends now.
I'm trying to think I probably have. But I'm
Yeah,
also
that's some
a
woman
terrible
shit to
person.
do.
I'm a terrible person.
That is exactly what a woman would do because she like wants to
Well, because by the time
still
you
pretend like she
actually
cares about his feelings, but also like doesn't want to be around them.
no, you care more about your feelings, so you don't want them
Yeah.
not to be around because you need them, so that you don't feel bad because you don't want to feel
Yes.
bad, but you feel
Oh,
bad
okay.
because you know what I mean. That's what she's
You
doing.
want to pretend like you didn't hurt them.
She wants. That's exactly what Jen's doing, and she wants to just be
Mm.
like, if we're friends, then the breakup is okay.
She's just using these country folk. This fucking city bitch has come in and is just using these country folk.
She just wasn't ready to be in a relationship. Come on.
And
Get
by that
it?
I mean I've never been. I've just fucked around.
Yeah, she's gonna need a minute. Um, yeah, and then Dawson's like, "Oh, well, yeah, let's just be friends." Which, he could say no.
Yeah. Nah, bitch. And then he just walks away.
Yeah, or not now. Like give me I again have experienced this where I've definitely been the Jen and been like, "Hey, let's can we be friends? Is it cool? I mean, obviously we're not going to hang out every day or whatever, but like and then they're like, "Yeah, but in like 6 months." Like I've had guys say that to me and I'll respect that. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, just say what you want.
But Dawson is a leery and he knows how to just take it and just get shat upon by women.
But it's also they're in school. When you're in school, you have to see the person you were dating. You don't have a choice. Your
Yeah,
lockers are near each other. You can't avoid them.
it should be. I mean, if there's one thing white people can do, it's passive aggressive and just like bottle up emotions and pretend that even they pretend they're not even in the room when they're right in front of you.
I like that you said bottle up emotions while you put a bottle down. Very, very
This episode brought to you by Topo Chico. No.
I don't even know what that
Oh,
is, but sounds
Topo
great.
Chico, you don't know that bubbly water?
Oh, it's bubbly water. Great.
Yeah.
Oh, I passed a truck. This has nothing to do with Dawson's Creek, but I was driving back from the airport and I passed a truck and it was called Death Water. And it
Yeah.
was, or what is that? Why would you name your water Death Water? I think that's the worst marketing I've ever heard in my life because, like, let's say you're in a third world country and they're like, we donate several cases to places that don't have water. I'm sorry. And the first water you get is called death. Would you trust it? Would you want to drink it?
I don't think companies really think about what's going to happen with their donations. Uh,
That's
and also, it has been killing it. It's become very popular, and it's only like a year old.
what with the like what scene
It's
with the
it's
death
all
metal
marketing.
scene?
It's all just like an anti-marketing thing. Uh, because the water one too, it's just a can with just water, and then they have sparkling water too, but like just water in a can. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's not my thing. Okay, but back to Dawson's Creek. I'm so sorry. I go off on
All right.
tangents.
No,
So
just like Dawson's Creek, we have blatant product placement within episodes.
that don't pay us. So Dawson is like, all right, fine, because Pacey's like, date someone. Pacey's advice is actually relatively good, I think, to be like, make her jealous by dating somebody else in front of her face.
Yeah.
It's not nice, but it's 100%.
No, and I
What?
think that is more accurately what most people wouldn't have done. This whole like I'm it it's a stereotype that you usually see played out the other way in movies and TV shows is that how Dawson feels is would normally be the female character
Mm-hmm.
and just not being able to get over him. And
It's every
I
rom com.
believe
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't I don't know, it's weird because especially like teenage boys and stuff, like just the prospect of having sex is what motivates most of what you do, and actual feelings, those don't really arise until your 20s.
Just broke my heart. Here I thought every guy really wanted to be my friend in high school.
Oh, you're saying they didn't come after you like that?
I didn't. I'm so naive. I still am so naive. When people hit on me, I have no idea that it's happening. 90%
Oh,
of the
okay,
time,
I got
I'm
what
like,
you're saying.
no, they're really interested in my conversation.
No, no, not in high school. But also like, yeah, you might date somebody and end up having feelings for them, but let's be realistic. I mean, it's not even winter yet. This is all still happening in the fall of the sophomore year, and so it's like we're talking a span of like they didn't even date for a
No,
week.
it was like a month maybe,
Yeah,
but it was intense. So Dawson decides to date this Mary Beth chick who
yeah,
comes
who
out of
is
nowhere,
would
obviously.
totally thought was a lesbian. Especially when they meet up at the fair later, she has total lesbian.
You see that about every character on the show. You know that, right?
It might be just the
Every
early
chick,
'90s was
every
very
chick. You're like,
heavily
she,
Liz Fair. Yeah,
yeah, you're like, she's a dark T-shirt on, and it's a crew neck, not a V-neck. Lesbian. Like that's your
I
uh,
stand by that. I stand by.
side. If someone's straight or gay, is by their bagginess of their T-shirt.
And the haircuts too. And well,
That's
but hers, she was like in a full pantsuit almost when
that's
she
what
showed
you
up to the
wore back then.
fair.
I definitely had that outfit.
Oof. And I'm not convinced you're not a lesbian.
All right, I'm not either. We'll work on that. Still waiting for that first date to figure it out. Uh, yeah. So he dates her, and then Pacey fails his grade, and Joey has
Yeah.
to work with him on a project about bugs.
Snails.
Yeah, it's a bug.
Mating of snails. They are, I don't know, would they be a crustacean? I don't know what they're considered.
I don't know, but that's like a weird sex thing too. It's for the teacher to be like, find out how they fuck.
Yeah, I know. That'd just be a weird project in general. And I feel like you never I don't know.
This
Some
whole
of these
show
things
though, they
maybe
always like are like, how can we put sex in this? Oh, let's have the snails fuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Let's do that. Let's get the snails to fuck.
And but the whole time you find out they are asexual too. Like they're just they procreate with themselves.
Are you not gonna call them lesbians? I'm waiting.
No, they don't procreate.
Did you not
No,
see their hair and their t-shirts on the snails? Good
they
time with
were where
t-shirts on the
the
snails.
snails were dark toned, they're dressed in like colors like I'm dressed in right now.
Yeah. So they have to work together. Oh no, what could happen? Dun dun dun.
So this was the one I was waiting for. However, it did not play out the way I remembered. But I knew this thing was coming where they would get stuck in the marsh.
Oh,
Have
this
the
is what you were
classic.
talking about. Yeah, it's not nearly what you were. She was like, no. And he was
I know. I thought, because I know they end up dating at some point, and I thought this is when it began. I didn't realize this is when Pacey's feelings start, but not Joe Bags. Joey Bag of Sads.
I love when they get together. I'm like, love that they're fighting. Like their whole, I just really want them to love each other so much.
Yeah.
So
They
much.
do the combination of the two of them together becomes more appealing than either of their characters have been individually so far in the series.
Yeah, because they're both like the underdogs of the town.
Yeah.
And so that's
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Trash meet trash.
But different kinds of trash.
Yes, yes.
One's recyclable.
I don't know which one you mean by that.
Don't know either. I just was thinking of different kinds of trash. This is for me.
You're just really like that, just that button.
It's true. I mean, I could just do this. It's beautiful. Let's have a nice little laugh track. I think there's something.
This was filmed before a live studio audience. So they go off in the swamp and do their swamp thing.
They become swamp monsters.
And meanwhile, Dawson and
Jen.
fucking what's her name? Yeah,
Mary Beth.
Jen, but no, Mary Beth, and then this new character who I think seen one
We've met him
time
a few
before.
times. He's the one that he
Yeah.
fought at the dance.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. He's
Okay.
all white
And
guys look alike.
yeah, and wasn't he the one who also
He's been in several episodes.
asked Dawson if Jen had a boyfriend, and he was like, "Yeah, me." This guy is an actor too. He's been in a bunch of stuff since then. He's one of the more successful people, I think, to come off of being a random character in this show.
Yeah, but he also plays it like he's in the show a lot.
Yeah, but only I think it. Okay, here's the thing. I think if you have like a 4 or 5 episode arc in Dawson's Creek, it's almost worse than being like a Graham character because they will just cut you out of the show, no explanation, like they did with Jen's previous boyfriend. I think with this guy, Chad or whatever is Chad, right?
I'm looking it up because I'm interested. But for me, it feels like this they do the thing that you were saying about cutting. They definitely do that in this episode to that Mary Beth character.
Oh yeah, she'll never be seen again.
Yeah, and we'll get there because I specifically, what character am I looking for? Oh, we don't know his name, so it's not helpful.
Is it Chad? Just look up.
There's a Cliff. Is it Cliff? I think it's
Cliff.
Cliff.
Yeah, that's it. Because
Scott
there was a lot of
Foley.
Cliffs. Yeah, Scott Foley. He was fucking Cyclops, wasn't he?
I mean, he was in a lot of things. It looks like so many. Scrubs. Come on. That's the one that I pulled up. Felicity. Oh, he was huge on Felicity. But he's in Dawson's Creek 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes.
All right, so we might have just hit his 5th episode.
We just hit his 4th, and I can
4th. He's got one more.
the next episode is his 5th, so we're about to witness the goodbye of
bye, Scotty boy.
Sorry, Cliff. Thanks for partying with us. Yeah. So, yeah, they go on a double date to a fair.
Fair, yeah. Do you guys have fairs in Canada?
Yeah, we do. We have my favorite fair called the Markham Fair, and there's this thing called Tiny Tim Donuts, and it's based. I think they have them in America where you see the little donuts get made and they slide and then they flip and then they slide and then they put like brown sugar or whatever at the end and shake them and give them to you.
Oh, okay.
That's so.
I mean, there's that idea of them, but it's not necessarily like a fair food staple.
Oh, it's in Canada and it's my favorite.
Yeah. Is it Tiny Tim's because they're like tiny Tim Horton donuts?
Maybe, but it's branded differently because it's not a Tim Horton thing.
Oh, okay.
But and maybe it's just this one guy who owns this one truck and that's what he named it. And I
Yeah.
only ever been to that fair. So it's like I'm like, this is a fair. No, I've been to other fairs. But
Yeah.
and that's my favorite fair in Canada that
You're like, I'm cool. I'm cool. I've
I've
been
been
to
to
other fairs.
so many fairs you don't even know, bro. But yeah, Markham Fair was my favorite. I never really went there in high school that I can remember. Like it was never. Oh, I think I went once in high school, like ninth grade. I went with some friends,
Yeah.
and that was like all the antics that you can go through. They are so chill as sophomores at the fair. Like they're not like trying to get beer or trying to scare girls. Like they're trying to play
Yeah, I
adults at
think
a
by
fair.
sophomore year, we were smoking weed and like we'd go to the fair, but they would sneak off and smoke weed and drink and then come back to the fair drunk and high.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what the fair
Much like the
for.
characters in this film, I want to say the first time I ever like made out with a girl was on a Ferris wheel, the summer between fifth and sixth grade.
Yeah, it feels like there's 40-year-olds playing 6-year-olds on this show. Uh, something like that. Yeah, so they go and they play like this game. This like so Dawson's with this Mary whatever, and Jenna's with Cliff,
Yeah.
and uh, they're playing the game where you throw a ball and try to hit those
Yeah, bottles,
things.
baseball, hit bottles, which also that is like, I mean, maybe fairs still have that, but I feel like that's like the most old timey game they could have had. Maybe it was just the easiest one props department to put together, but I always remember like the squirt gun into the make the horses go or
That's
basketball shooting or something. But
those are my jams. And then you shoot the person next to you with the water, and it's cute. Ha ha ha! Everybody laughs. But the one that they were playing is like one that's known to be rigged, so you can't win. So the fact that both of them clicked
that
all
they're
those,
just cleaning up.
yeah, it didn't make any sense.
And also what the rules were that they were going like back and forth. I was like, I didn't think that's how it was. I thought it was just a one person game.
Yeah, exactly. But they kind of made their own rules, and then they were playing back and forth, and then Cliff wins for Jen the first time, and she's like, "You pick what stuffed animal," and then Dawson is like, "Let's play again," like so
Yeah.
broed out that it's kind of disgusting. Have you ever had that kind of moment?
Not with like
The
I mean,
grunt.
with brothers, I have fucking brothers. So yeah, in that way, I've been very competitive and been like, let's play again. But it wasn't over the affection of a girl.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, it just seems super weird. And then Dawson wins, and he looks at Jen with the stuffed animal and is like, "No, it's got to go to the girl I brought."
I
And
know he fucking blew that. So that's what I mean about being motivated by sex is if this girl is willing to go out with you, I think as a high school boy, you would just be like, well, this is who I'm going to try and get physical attention from now.
but Dawson doesn't want to have sex.
Yeah, that's even more suspicious.
Even though he talked to Joey about how he didn't like this girl. Have you ever dated someone you didn't like on purpose? I think I have.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah, for sure.
Terrible people.
Yep. Hmm. I've definitely done that. Definitely hooked
definitely,
up with somebody
definitely,
that I
definitely done
had really no intentions of doing, but I was like, nothing else going on. And
Did you say you had no intention of doing this person?
I said I hooked up with somebody who I had, would have never even pursued after, but like at a party and they're like, hey, you want to? And you're like, don't have
100.
anything else. Fucking.
That's high school, man. It's a
This was college, but yeah.
yeah, it's low as location, location, location. If they're standing in the
Yeah.
same corner as you, it's easier to deal with. Yeah. So then it cuts back to like the Joey and Pacey thing, and it turns out Pacey is let another snail in with the other snails because he thought that that snail would want a three-way.
Yeah, which also this was the time of, or I wonder if they can't get away with it because of standards and practices. That I remember on Seinfeld, I remember on this, everybody said menage a trois instead
I
of
was so
just
bad about that too.
threesome. And it's weird that that was, I don't know, like the PC or like the sneaky way to say it.
Yeah, there's probably a reason for that for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
because Joey's like, how, what we were supposed to, and then the other thing that's creepy to me is that Pacey was like, yeah, Joey, I did work out, I did come here and check last night. They're allowed to go into the school at night.
yeah. I don't know what's up with this school. I mean, there's barely teachers around. It seems like most of the time, and it's really kids run the show in this whole town, really.
I'm surprised how many kids are at the school.
You think it's a big school?
For population, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they might be a regional school too. That's what we had in my area. So we had a bunch of towns went to the high school.
Okay, fair.
Uh, but it's also, I wonder if you like ask the writers how much time is supposed to have passed by now in the school year, because they're filming it in North Carolina, but it's supposed to be Cape Cod, and the trees are barely starting to turn now. When they're out in the marsh, you could see like the trees turning a little bit.
I love how much the geography of this place bothers you so much.
It's all I think about. I might be an Aussie. Uh,
I hope we get a writer on here one day and you can just be like, look, I have timeline questions, hard
yeah,
and geography.
the
And you
sun
bring
does
a
not set at
PowerPoint
that part.
presentation. You have your PowerPoint presentation.
yeah,
We're supposed to be here. And yet the boat is all the way over here.
we should have. I would love to put together. Maybe a listener can do this. Excuse
AKA
me.
he's too lazy to do it.
Yeah, totally. But a like a physical, actual Dawson's Creek timeline
I bet you someone has.
that put it together in like a calendar form of like, if it starts on the first day of school, this is when everything else is happening throughout.
Yeah, except for it'll jump through time warps because it's not possible. It's not possible. We've seen episodes where it was, when they went away and they were at nighttime, but everyone else was daytime, when they got on that
Yeah.
boat, like last episode or whatever. Yeah. So he does the menage a trois with the snails. Joey is like, you know how much this means to me. And he's like, I do. So let's fix this situation. And I
Yeah.
gotta say, Pacey's such a handsome mess up. Like he's like a guy who messes up, but also is like, let's fix this. And I like that.
He is a do right. Like he'll always fuck up, but he will always continue trying.
Yeah. And I think I like that about him. Then it probably cuts back to the fair at this point, right? Or does it cut to them? Oh no, it cuts to Joey and Dawson talking about this date on the Ferris wheel. So we just jumped timelines. We failed. We did exactly what they do on Dawson's Creek.
Oh yeah, they are now back. No, they're walking up to her house with the nets and stuff, and this is just about when Pacey comes to pick her up, and Joey, yeah, is like, this is a terrible idea. You know this, right? And he's like, I do. I'm very aware this is a terrible idea. And then she does another one of her like, I wish I was going with you. And
You know it. And he's like, I wish you were going with me. It's so stupid. It's so silly. Then it goes to the girl in the pantsuit saying,
yeah,
at the fair.
it's just so gross. The color too. Nothing. She seems like the nicest person. Actually, she seems the most devious because we're jumping around too. Then the fair stuff happens, but then that's when you find out they step away that that he was using her. That Dawson was, she figures out very clearly when he goes to give Jen the stuffed doll, and then is like, never mind, that's that. Oops.
Yeah, that's my biggest. Okay, so I have such a hard time with that moment because, so it cuts right after that, right? And then
Yeah.
you see her on the car, and I'm talking. Mary Beth is on the car, and she's like, "I'm sorry, Dawson. I made a scene. This is all my fault." Mary Beth making a scene again, and I'm like, "What scene? We didn't see some scene. Like, did they cut that out? What happened?"
I don't know. Maybe she just meant like, I need to talk to you. Like she immediately was like, We should talk over here."
No, because
But
she got
then,
popcorn in her hands, like she was sitting there just eating, chilling,
yeah, like she'd been gone they'd been separated for a while. Like, or
and
did she storm off, grab popcorn, continue storming off, and he slowly followed?
also, I don't know if we said this. Dawson agreed to go on a double date with Jen and never told this girl that they were going on a double date. It was never told to Mary Beth
Excuse me.
that he was going on a double date and it was with his ex. That was never said.
Never said, and she just finds out when she fucking shows up there. Have you ever been surprised, um, like date wise, by that it's a double date, or you like meet family or parents or something like immediately, and you didn't know when you were walking into the situation that was going to happen?
Many times. Many, like a lot. And it never bothered me. I always never found out until later. Like every time there had been another person there that I wasn't expecting, later that person that I wanted to date with would be like, "Yeah, I did that because I was nervous to be alone with you." And I'm like, "Well, that's a creepy thing to say." Like, yeah, I've had some creeps. No, I don't know if it's creepy. I think it's just them trying to make it easier on them.
uh, you were set up though, not you set people up, or have you set people up too?
No, I've never invited anyone to meet my family until I've been dating them for like over a year.
Okay.
Because I just don't do that.
Yeah, that's a good
Also, my
call.
family lives in another country, so you like have to
That's real easy
travel.
then. Yeah.
It's not the easiest. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
I've only met one person my brother has ever dated.
I love that. That's smart on your brother's end.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Except it made my parents think he was gay for the longest time.
Same thing to me. My mom thought I was a lesbian, as do you, because
Well, her and I have been talking.
it's true. It's possible. It's possible. Yeah.
So yeah, then that's when you find out Mary Beth is way crazier than we thought. It's almost like she has been fucking 4Ding all three of them. Because how did she know Dawson was going to ask her onto the double date that with that guy that she claims she didn't know it was going to be a double date? Like that whole part seemed like really weird.
So what you're missing for the listeners is Mary Beth has a crush on Cliff, Jen's date. And
Yeah.
there's no way that she would have known that Cliff was going to
Unless
be there.
she's stalking all of them.
It's possible. It's also possible that she just went because she did say, "I went on this date with you because I felt bad for you."
Yes.
And then it just turned out that Cliff was there. And then she was like, I want Cliff.
Yeah. That's, I don't know. That's all that. And then she's like, now let's go borderline duo date rape them. She's like, I'll get him, you get her.
Yeah, let's
But
get him.
even though neither of them want us, let's go take them. And then they never show what's happening with Cliff and Mary Beth when
No,
they
they do
make this
one
plan.
they do one quick scene.
Oh, really? I forgot that.
Yeah. So they have this plan where they're gonna swap out who's on the Ferris wheel, right?
Yeah.
They
Which they
do.
go along with way too easily too.
Uh-huh. So she's like, "Get on here, Cliff." So he gets on with her, and then Dawson gets on with Jen, and Jen and Dawson have this conversation. But then it cuts to Mary Beth and Cliff, and they're both just sitting there like this, doing nothing. And then she
Nice.
says that line of like something inflammable and flammable. Did
Oh,
you
that's
know?
right. Yeah, mean the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the extent of their ride.
Um,
And then they
yeah,
say,
which you'd think she would have been more aggressive, and I think Cliff would have been more accepting of just getting, a hand job from anybody. I think he would have taken it, and I think she would have given it, and I think somebody
"What?
just needed to, yeah, yeah.
On
I
a
think
date with
she,
somebody else?"
yeah. Again, it's high school hormones. You gotta. It would be tough to fend that off.
Oh, okay. I would think you definitely not getting a second date if you fuck somebody else on the first.
Sure, sure. Yes, you might not, but also you might find out that you were now with the person who was willing to hook up where that other date you were on wasn't. But he never got a chance with Jen, so who knows?
Yeah. But Jen and Dawson have this deep conversation on the Ferris wheel where they
Where
hate.
it starts off with really like Dawson is, his overbearing self, and to the point where even I was like, just leave her alone, Dawson.
Yeah. Dawson's a creep where he's like, "I don't get it, Jen. You told me that you needed time alone, but you are dating another guy.
Yeah.
So clearly it's me." And I have definitely said that to somebody. Like I watched that and was like, fuck. I've been
Oh
Jen.
yeah.
I've definitely been Jen and been like, no, no, I just can't date right now. And then turned around and dated somebody else. Just because in the moment I thought I wasn't gonna date anybody else. And then after I met the other person, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll go to
Yeah.
date. It's harmless. It's not like I'm in. I think that the thing is Dawson is such an overbearing relationship guy, which I have definitely experienced. Where they like jump in and are like, we're not gonna talk marriage, but like that this is all the person wants. They want you for the rest of their life, and you're just like suffocated and you just want to
Yeah.
date someone who doesn't care. And that's what she's
Well,
going for. She's going for a jock who's a guy who's just going to use her. And that's all she
yeah,
wants.
and famously, you've been proposed to, what is it, 3 times?
More, but yeah, so many. It's so many. I shortened it. So many.
Oh, you shortened it for
Oh,
stage purposes?
I do a joke about it. I don't even think it's in my special, but I do a joke about it. And I remember my husband at one point was like, "That's just a bit, right?" And I was like, "No." Like, oh no. Yeah. Uh,
So yeah, you've definitely experienced
Not
the
from people I was dating. All of these proposals were from whack jobs.
oh, those count less then.
They
I
do.
mean,
I
that's
mean, one
still
guy
weird,
was like a real
but it's
one.
not
Yeah, like one guy was joining the army and he proposed to me and he was just my neighbor. And I was like, I'm
that's a
not
big army thing to
dating
do.
you. That was when I first moved to America and I was like, what is America? I was
Yeah.
so scared. I was like 18. That one I was like, no, 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 no.
I have a buddy who got married to a girl he'd known for like 2 weeks, and that was if you're in the military and you're listening to this, don't do that. Don't
Well,
ever
I
do
married a
that.
guy in 33 days, so I can't say much about it. I did end up marrying a
But
stranger.
you are not a 18, 19, 20-year-old who's going into the military and a lot of dudes will do it because they think it's a way to like hold on to their woman so she won't cheat or something when they leave to go off to the military. Other people do it because you get your benefits are a lot better if you're married, but it regardless, oh, they're much better. Like your housing stipends and shit like that are like almost double.
Smart.
Um and but just don't do it. It's not you end up it's a bad idea.
No, I was in my 30s, so it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was, we'd been together for 3 years before we got married, but I know people who just pulled the trigger fucking so quick, and they're like, "It's love," and then, like, 2 years later, they're like, "Whew, that didn't work out. That was a bad idea."
That's what I always say about my marriage. It's like I'm like, we got engaged and married so fast that like if it doesn't work out, at least it matches the amount of
Everybody
effort
saw
we
it
put
coming.
into this. Like it matches
Yeah,
the amount of like I mean it's been years now, so it's fine. But like even if we got divorced tomorrow, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
I married a stranger. I deserve this. Uh,
which I do think Dawson would get married in high school. I think he is definitely that guy.
yes, yes, yes. Okay, but back to Joey and Pacey. They're on the dock. They're looking for bugs, and then
No, they're in the swamp, and Pacey forgets to tie up the boat, and so now they have to walk through the water
which is
back.
so gross. Aren't they afraid of alligators? Are there alligators in this geography town, sir?
No, well, there are in North Carolina. There are not in Cape Cod.
Okay, so they're walking through a safe swamp.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they get out. She's in
Well, it's a
Caesar.
marsh too. This is salt water. It's like an inlet from the ocean.
I don't even know what any of that. I would be mortified if that happened.
I mean, the thing that's weird is just that it was not too deep to be able to walk the entire way. Like they didn't have to swim, they didn't get all the way into the water. But still, that's risky move. If the water's cold, like you could, you're really asking for hypothermia.
I also would have taken off my clothes and just had my underwear on. Like I don't. I'm
Just
visualizing
hold your clothes above your head or something.
or just get rid of them and be like, well, those are gone. Like, just the whole like being. We'll leave them on the dock because they were on a dock at one point, right?
uh, no, they cut from Pacey picking her up and she says goodbye to Dawson to they're in a boat and they're rowing and then they're just walking on dry land but in the marsh. So it's
Oh,
like they're
okay.
surrounded by a marshy area, but there are spots that are high enough that are dry.
So then they knew they were gonna get a little wet. Like it wasn't like
But you wear like waterproof boots or something.
yeah,
Yeah, but you didn't know you were going chest deep.
right. And then they get out and Pacey's like, put on this towel, and
Yeah.
this moment
Take
like
off and not like get in the car and turn on the heat or something, but it's just like first things first, everybody strip.
yeah. And then she's like, stay over there. And then he gets in the car and just watches her change from that
Just
mirror.
J's his D while she is changing in the mirror.
So like just like here's her butt crack. Yeah, that's a butt. Like what was he looking at?
Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to be implied, but they didn't show that she maybe turned for a second and he saw a titty or something.
That's possible.
Which I did see, and it's okay because they are above 18. Um,
They-
when she first like is about to take off her stuff, she turns and she was definitely, her shirt was wet, very hard nipples.
oh, you can see it in the show. I didn't even
Yeah, you can see it for just a sec. I paused it. I took screenshots, all that stuff.
look. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send them to you guys. Yeah, look on my Instagram, people. No.
I love that. Yep. I don't like when people post pictures of their kids naked on Instagram. It freaks me out. Like if it goes
Yeah,
really
it always
deep
seems like a bad idea.
and I swear, like if it's in the story and all of a sudden it's like, ah, and I like click because I'm like, I don't want that. I get so nervous with that
And
stuff.
it's one thing, like my parents had like their pictures of me as a baby and I was naked like in the house, but to just
But
be
you
like, here
don't
you go,
post it.
world.
Yeah, you don't post it. You can take them and
Yeah.
have them, and it's cute for your family time.
Yeah. But instead, this is for everybody out there who wants to not get in trouble for having naked pictures of children.
Nope, not my fan, not my thing. So then it cuts back to Jen and them at the Ferris wheel. Joey and obviously Pacey go back to her house to get clothes. And Pacey's like, thank you. And you can see that he's falling in love with her. And then it cuts back to Jen and Dawson on the Ferris wheel fighting. And it's being like, we should not be friends.
Yeah. And then she kind of hints at that maybe she is still into him.
Which is
But it's, I don't know, it's both of them are annoying at this point. At this point, I like the fact that she wasn't just like, look, I don't like you. I didn't like, I would have respected her more of that. But now she's like, I might actually still like you. Like she won't say that she doesn't really like him. And that I would just go like, maybe you should be together because you're both fucking annoying blondes. No offense to you.
That's all right. I change my hair color every day. Although I was born a blonde, so I think I'm a blonde.
Mm.
That's how that works. Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like them together.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're annoying. And then Dawson is sitting by himself, sad at the Ferris grounds. And then Joey and Pacey walk up, and
Yeah.
Pacey's like, "We gotta talk. My dick got chubby. We gotta talk."
Yeah. Yeah.
So he
He's
pulls
like,
him aside, which is the right thing to do.
I saw Joey's meaty tits and I think I'm going in for him.
Right. Like they were a little younger than the last person I slept with, who was my teacher.
Yeah.
But
Yep. A little higher.
but I'm in. And I think it's good that he asked Dawson. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, well, yes. I think that is good. It is, I mean, it's one of those things where if he hadn't asked Dawson and had done it, then I still don't think he's in the wrong because they aren't dating. They've never dated. It's been very clear that Joey likes Dawson, much less clear that Dawson likes Joey in any way.
True. And if he hadn't, there would have been a 3 arc episode of them fighting. Kind of like the
Yeah.
basketball scene when they had that school detention
Yeah.
thing, I feel like
Yeah.
would happen.
And so he asks and he's like, yeah, go ahead. No, don't do it. Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Like very wishy-washy. At which point, as Pacey, I would have been like, oh, I think he actually might like her. Like I was just asking as a courtesy, but the way you answered, I was like, oh shit. That's what like now you kind of go, oh shit, man, I think he does have feelings for her.
But he said, "I good. Bye. Run."
Yeah.
So then he tries to kiss Joey. And
And does
like a rapey kiss, not a
a
normal.
little bit, like not.
He's like, "How
It
was your
goes
time?"
something
He's
like,
like,
there's something, yeah, there's something I think I want to say to you. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, "Hala."
I was like, "That's not saying." Oh, but also we have to talk about this before. So when Pacey is asking Dawson if he can kiss Joey or ask her out on a date, I think the weirdest line in history was said by Dawson's Creek. I've never or Dawson.
No,
He
that is his full name is Dawson's Creek.
I love it. I love it. He said, uh, "My two best friends kissing. What could be better than that?"
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
that line? I had to write it down because I was like, I rewound that spot because I was like, what the fuck was
Yeah.
that?
I get I get the sentiment, but it is weird, and this is what I think as an adult you would be thinking is, oh, great. I really wanted to be a third wheel from now on. Like instead of the three of us hanging out, it's now it would be you guys and I would be there.
If my two best friends started dating, I would be like, whoa, what if they break up? Like that would be my first thought.
True. Yeah, that I that wouldn't have been my first thought, but it is a mature thought.
Is it mature or mean?
A little of both, a little of both, but I think being mature, part of being mature is learning how to be mean.
Thanks. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I just hit that button for fun because I didn't know what it
That didn't help. That wasn't the right.
was. It was a guess. It was a guess. Cool. And then Pacey kisses Joey. Joey's like, "What are you doing?" And then Pacey's like, if you did kiss back, you'd be pretending you were kissing Dawson, right?"
Yeah.
And she's like,
And
"Yeah."
she's like, no, she's hit the Joey sound. This is what she does. And then she walks inside.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something, but
Oh,
nope.
no. I'm just like, she just, because she didn't say anything. And by not saying anything, she totally you know, said Dawson.
You know, she went upstairs into her bedroom and was like, "Two boys love me. Pacey wants to get with me," and she like finger blasted herself a little bit about it.
You think so? I don't,
Well,
I
here's
feel
how
like,
it works in high school. Maybe not the finger blasting part, but like if a guy says to you, even now, I would say, if I've looked at a guy and I've never physically found him attractive or thought about him in that way, and then
yeah.
he says to me, like, "Hey, I'm interested in you," then all of a sudden you're like, "No." And then that night you're like, "Wait, maybe," like you have that, like you go back in your mind and then maybe you conclude like, "Oh, gross, no." uh there's somebody in my mind that I'm thinking of that we both know, but I'm not gonna say their name.
Ooh, a comic told you that?
No. In my
Oh,
mind I was like, who would I not even have that thought with? Which is
I gotcha.
several people. But yeah, I think it's normal for her to like then think about Pacey after this.
Um, yeah. So what you're saying is, guys, go out there and tell women that you are attracted to them.
Just
Because
walk up and
even
kiss
if they're
them,
not
make them
attracted to you, they
uncomfortable.
like it. Despite what they say, they like it. That's pretty much what you're saying.
You're wording this in such a me too way that I'm very uncomfortable with.
I think you're pro catcalling, is what you're saying.
No,
I
not
think
screaming
that's
at a woman from down the street, but if you like
no. Go
someone,
right up to her. Go.
don't be like, "Hey, nice tits," but you can be like, "Hey, I just want you to know
I've always wanted your tits.
I've always wanted to suck on your tits." Yeah, just say something like that, really
Yeah.
sweet, and then go to suck on them and see what she does, and make sure it's in a public place, and yeah, I think it'll go over real well.
Yeah, as long as there are witnesses, it's not assault. Okay, that is the biggest thing we've learned today.
Oh my gosh, no one, please don't do this. Uh,
uh, but yeah, then it cuts to,
the parents again, which we haven't seen in forever. Oh, we did forget at some point.
oh, that part where he's like, Dawson, is he calling here? His dad goes in after that one call to be like, I got to go to this, my son, my spy, and he'll tell me what's really going on.
And I know that that's a real thing parents do, so I kudos to that moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have a friend whose mom cheated on his dad, and when he was a teen, and he said he used to remember his dad, driving him back from school, and he'd put his hand on her car to see if it was warm, to see if she'd just left the house or just gotten home, like after it was all discovered, when they were trying to work it out.
Yeah, but they were never putting the kid in between them of being like, you give me information on.
No, he definitely did. It was,
Oh,
have
yeah,
you heard
that sucks.
anything?
You can't do that to your kids.
I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah, it's weird. But also Dawson knew ahead of time, so
Yeah, but imagine also like in this scenario, that's the first thing he said to him in like 3 weeks.
hey, I haven't been home, but have Bob called?
Yeah,
Great to see you.
it's like, oh, where are my parents? So then towards the end of the show, Dawson's laying there and it's kind of going back, and he's like, maybe I do like Joy. He finally fucking figures out that. So far, Dawson has had um Jen kind of into him. this Mary Beth chick, I think if he really wanted to have dated her, she would have.
100%. She's no self-esteem. She would have dated whoever said yes.
Yeah. And Joey been into him the whole time. So like he's just had several women throwing themselves at him, and I'm not convinced he's not gay at this point. I really
I mean, he's so mean. When Pacey's like, "Can I go after Joey?" He's like, "Joey? Like Joey? Like the disgusting Joey?" Like it's so mean
Yeah.
that if Joey ever heard that that's how he talked about her, oh my gosh, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. But yeah, so
Like,
Dawson's like, "Wait, I gotta tell Pacey, no, this is not cool." So
yeah.
he runs
I
downstairs.
might be into that piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. That stupid bitch. So then he sees his parents hugging in the kitchen. The phone is ringing. Everyone knows it's Bob, but no one's saying anything.
Yeah, which Bob, yeah, if I was Mitch, I'd pick up and be like, if this is Bob, I'm coming to kill you.
Well, first of all, if there was an argument at the beginning of the day and she went to work, don't you think she'd be like, "Hey, Bob, you can't call my house anymore."
Ixnay the Elophones.
Right?
Yeah.
And I also love that they're like slow dancing. The phone is ringing, and he's like, "Let it ring," and that's like a sexy moment. And in my
Yeah.
mind, it's just a telemarketer or like someone being,
Oh yeah,
"You're
yeah.
late on your phone bill." Uh, like we're repossessing your house. You
Or
should
like, don't they have parents? Dawson doesn't have grandparents.
not that we know of.
No other. They don't have siblings, brothers, sisters. No other family they're involved with. I mean, eventually Dawson's dad dies. You never hear about his dad's brother coming in to help out. It like it's very singular family.
Yeah,
It's like
100%.
two only children have an only child.
So then Pacey goes, I mean, Joey Dawson, oh my gosh. Dawson goes to Pacey and is like, "Hey man, I changed my mind. Please don't ask out Joey." He's like, "Too late, man. Fucked her."
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. I was hoping he wouldn't say that he was kidding and he just leave Dawson thinking that they made out for an hour.
But then his character says that everything that everyone's always wanted to hear from the audience, where they're like, where Pacey's like, "You need to figure this out. Do you want the blonde or the brunette?" You know,
Yeah.
so it
And that's when you
like,
realize Dawson is Archie.
yeah, it feels like it's coming to the point where we're gonna find out what's gonna happen. Are they gonna
Yeah.
date? Who loves who?
And also that they are not real characters. The women in this series is just based around the feelings of the men.
Yeah, but that's all women, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's
I'm
what you're
kidding.
here
I'm
for.
kidding. I'm kidding. Oh my god. I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm a strong woman. I'm gonna play that tape tonight. Another thing that I have to say about
Is that what you fall asleep to?
yeah, every night. This episode had my favorite song in it that I definitely had a CD of.
Oh, the one there that he's playing as
Hanging
he's
by a
going out. What?
Hanging by a thread. It's the one like after the when they're at the Ferris wheel thing where it's like hanging by a thread. I love that song.
Yeah. Yeah, they do every once in a while get a good one in there. I think they've had one Soundgarden one maybe so far. Like for the well, the weird thing is for the time, I feel like a lot of the music is 4 years older than the show.
I think it was popular when it was coming out. Like I think they were playing the hits.
It was it. It just felt like it was like more early '90s ish stuff, and then this is coming out in like '99, 2000. I guess this first season is '99, right?
It's a lot of emo. Yeah, it's like 98,
Yeah,
99.
yeah.
Um, what do you think's gonna happen next episode? I think it's called
Um,
Scare or Scream or something.
yeah. I don't. Somebody's got to. Well, Pacey already tried. I think look, either Dawson shoots his shot with Joey, or Joey decides maybe she is into Pacey.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah,
I
I think we don't see the parents again for maybe till next season.
never again. We're done with them.
Yeah.
I think yeah, this scare is just gonna be like yeah, one of them will figure out who they all love, but also it's just gonna be like a horror episode.
Yeah, based on like like they did with Breakfast Club type thing.
Yeah, it'll just be like basically a remake of Scream or something like that, because that was popular then.
Well, actually, Dawson is based on the guy who made Scream.
So then it's definitely going to be an
Yeah.
episode about Scream.
Yeah. Yeah. What's his name? It's not Wes Craven. It's the other guy who. What the fuck is his name? I forget his name, but the guy who made Scream then later produced this show as his childhood. It's supposed to be his childhood.
Oh, so he was a fucking creep.
Yeah. Because eventually, when they get into college, and then maybe the last season is after college, Dawson is making Scream, but it's called like Stab or something.
Good to know.
Yeah. So have that to look forward to. But yeah, this basically is pretty much what they're showing you is that this is the early years of what would later become a Hollywood sexual offender.
Did he do bad things?
I don't know if he did, but I mean, they probably all have, and they haven't. I think anybody at that level, especially doing horror movies, you got trying to get girls to show their tits and stuff. You think those are all on the up and up?
Oh, remind me to tell you about all the horror movies I did in the next episode.
All right, we got that to look forward to.
I can't wait, or I don't want to wait. I'll get
Yeah.
it. I'll get it. I'll practice.
I don't want to wait.
For the next episode.
I love how that starts to open up your morning light, share a little space with me. You know that if we are to, I don't quite know the
None of
words.
those words were right, but yeah.
Thank you. But the melody was.
Melody was there. It'll probably have this whole episode taken off YouTube because of that.
Because I was so spot on that it's gonna recognize that as a copywritten song.
I mean, if it does, you should take that as a beautiful compliment.
I'm going into I'm quitting comedy and gonna be a folk artist.
I love it. All right, well, everybody, stay tuned. Next week we'll be doing the scare.
See who gets pregnant. I hope it's I hope it's a fucking pregnancy thing.
I would love it if that's that thing. If they're all just pregnant.
Miss Jacobs come back and she's pregnant with Pacey's child.
Yes, please. Okay.
And she sues him for child support.
I'm in. I'm so in. Well, cool. Bye.
We'll record on your end. All right, bye.